of my healing from glioblastoma is a tumor in the brain. On the 6th of June 2025, I took a flight from Lagos to United Kingdom whilst I was on leave. As the plane landed in the UK, I noticed that my ears popped. Once I landed, I noticed that my lips started trembling very gently. This happened on Friday, which was the 6th of June. But on Saturday, the trembling continued and got a bit worse, and it happened more frequently on Saturday, maybe like 12 times. Sunday got absolutely worse. It was almost out of control, and I took the train. I knew of a nearby hospital, so my intention was to go to the hospital, get to see the doctor. So while I was on the train, the trembling started. I noticed that it had moved from, it was typically my left side of my face. It was just my lips. Then it moved to my eyes. So the trembling on my lips and my eyes continued. As the train moved forward, after like 5 to 10 minutes into the journey, I noticed that my head started shaking uncontrollably. I had to put my hand on my head to hold it. And I heard a ringing inside my brain. And then I passed out. I woke up about 5 to 10 minutes later. I was on the floor of the train. The train had stopped. Somebody was about to call the emergency person. They called the emergency person, but by the grace of God, I stood up, got an Uber to the hospital. They now took me to do a scan, a holistic scan of my body. And what they discovered, I was a bit surprised. In fact, I was shocked about it. They said there was a big tumor in my brain, and that was what was causing the seizures. I was in a state of shock. I've never had seizures before in my life. Never, not once. The doctor that attended to me at the hospital said that I needed to see a neurosurgeon. So on the 18th of June, when I was confused, I had written an email to pray with Pastor Jerry, describing the situation, saying I didn't understand what was happening to me. I don't understand why my face was moving on its own. What was very interesting was that 18th of June, before I and my sister and my husband had set off for the hospital, Pastor Jerry Eze, I had not received any diagnosis, so Pastor Jerry Eze mentioned glioblastoma be reversed. Glioblastoma be reversed.
Glioblastoma. Glioblastoma. If you are the one, put it on the live stream. The devil is a lie. By the mercies of God, let it be reversed.
I was on the prayer and I said amen. I didn't even know that I was going to be diagnosed with glioblastoma. My husband and myself went to the doctor's clinic. He said that the tumor looks like a glioblastoma tumor. When they tested the tumor, they said it was malignant. It was a fast-growing tumor. Pastor Jerry Eze went on to mention glioblastoma several other times.
Glioblastoma, the devil is a liar. I announce, let it be reversed.
While in the course of the prayers, there was a dream I had where I saw a hand open my brain. Something used like a spoon, scoop out what looked like a round ball, which was the tumor, and just take it away and close my head back. So once I had all those things, I knew that I was definitely going to be healed. Pastor Jerry has said that we should put a date, like we want to receive our evidence. And I told God that I wanted to receive my evidence before the 21st of March, which was my birthday. When I came into the UK on the 16th of February, I had an appointment with the doctor. I had done a scan in Nigeria and they said that there was a bit of swelling around the brain, and the report said possible increase in tumor activity. So the doctor here repeated the scan. On the 19th of March, I had an appointment with him, which was 2 or 3 days before my birthday, and he said he looked at the results and he was smiling and he said, let me give you an early birthday present. He said there is no evidence of tumor growth, so I give God the glory. He was surprised. The doctor himself said, well, stage 4 is an aggressive tumor. There's no evidence that that tumor has increased in size and you're healed of this disease. When I got in the good news from the doctor, I went on my own. I had an appointment fixed for the 26th of March, and I said, you will come with me so that you will hear from the doctor's mouth and you will tell all the family members that I'm healed. So she said fine, she will come with me. That very morning again, even before we went for the appointment, Pastor Jerry again we said glioblastoma be reversed. He had not mentioned it in months. He mentioned the morning we were going to get the final report from the doctor. He said, glioblastoma be reversed, glioblastoma be reversed, glioblastoma be reversed. So, brethren, I'm just here because I made a vow to God that if He can heal me of this disease, that I will come and give my testimony. I want to say thank you to Pastor Jerry Eze for the dedication. It's not easy what he does. There was a time I was watching his birthday interview, and somebody asked him, do you like swallow? And he said, swallow, I've not had swallow for some time, and that I've been fasting. And I looked at him. I remember when he said he was going to start fasting. That was, I think, from beginning of the year. A pastor fasting from almost 8 months, wakes up every night to pray. He's praying for everybody, but he's praying for strangers, people he does not know. Takes everything upon himself and is crying for people, touched by the infirmities of people. Oh no, I admire the dedication. What God is doing through NSPPD, it is unprecedented. And I'm happy not just only be a witness, but to be a partaker of God's hand upon that ministry. And I say once again, what God cannot do does not exist. And I join the millions and millions all around the world to say, may the oil well on Pastor Jerry's head never run dry.